Hi, this is Pastor Kerrene Covington from Wigntv.net and today's Christian Woman. I'm sitting here at the IYC 2012 with none other than
Zane Black.
and he was a speaker for this evening at the convention talking with youth about what's going on in their life. Very interesting topic because he was talking about being free. And rather than just talk about the kids, although I'm going to do that just briefly because I know you have to go, how do you feel being given the topic of free?
Hmm. Oh man, I was really excited about it. I mean, one, it's the 4th of July, so that was kind of appropriate, and then two, it was so impactful for my life because I feel like I had lived in bondage and for 21 years of my life, making poor decisions, living for myself, and I felt like when God came into my life, I mean, He truly set me free. And I know it can sometimes be a cliche, but for me, it was a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol and just tons of addictions. I have that personality, um, and God truly set me free. So when they asked me to talk about that, I was really excited just to tell my story.
Now, I've met a lot of Christian parents who have a problem with anything that isn't just maybe a little bit of sin being told to their children. And some of the things you were talking about, the drug addiction, the alcohol, these kinds of things, telephone ringing, are all things that they would feel really uncomfortable with you talking to their children about. What is your response to Christian parents?
I think it's so true. I think Christian parents should be concerned about the type of things that their children are taking in. From the music to the media to speakers to whatever. But I think also the reality is we can't be blind to the world, and the reality is I mean, these are high school students. Um, yeah, they hear it, and I think whether it is to the music or the media, and so rather than for them to have a worldly perspective of these things, the drugs and alcohol, to actually have it from a biblical perspective and how we deal with that, and then also to hear some of the consequences, which also aren't talked about, often, and so for them to know, hopefully, the reality is, yeah, that was the reality of my life, and that was the poor choices I made. But I also try to be real with the consequences, and how those things are everlasting. Even though Jesus forgives, some of it, man, it affects us. Um, but there's opportunity, for freedom from that. Because the reality is there's a lot of those students that are dealing with alcohol abuse and drug abuse, and those kids need to be set free too. And we have an opportunity and a responsibility as Christians, as Christian parents, to raise our kids with the knowledge of what is happening in the world, so our kids can be like missionaries in those kids' lives. And I know we need to protect them, but we also need to unleash them into the world equipped as ministers of the gospel. Man, one of the hardest things for me is I went through my whole high school career drinking and drugging, and I mean, I ended up, doing really poor choices, and no one in high school ever told me about Jesus. And I wonder, what if the teenagers had equipping from the parents, not just to stay away, although they need that to stay, but to enter in a healthy way, to engage their friends and show their friends that there's another option, rather than just hide in the trenches of fear and not engage the culture or the people dealing with these things. So that's my big heart for sure.
Certainly. We can't protect kids from everything. And by us putting them in this isolated cocoon, we don't do them any service. We really don't. And I'm a very firm believer in telling kids what's going on, helping them to make those good choices, as you put it, so that they're not walking around with blinders, but we're not walking around with blinders as well. Now, you're about to be a new dad.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So look right there
yeah.
and tell the parents what you hope their kids heard today.
Hmm. Um, Yeah, I'm 2.5 weeks. My wife and I away from having a baby. We don't know yet, boy or girl. It's a surprise, and we're excited. Um, Man, I hope that what your students heard is that they have a God who loves them more than anyone else in the universe loves them. The God who sent His Son to die on their behalf. To prove his love to them, and then rose from the grave and offers that love to them today, and that empowers us. The life of Christ is available to us, and enables us to go and reach the hurting, to reach out to the broken, to comfort the needy. And I hope that your students got to know me a little bit and hear my story, but even more, that they got to know Jesus and His story, and then are passionate to go share it with others, that they will find freedom and they'll share that freedom with others.
One thing I can certainly tell you is that Reverend Black here gave a dynamic message that your young person will be able to use for the rest of their life. It doesn't just equip them. And remember what I'm always telling you, you're not raising children, you're raising adults. So give them what they need to be the adult that they can be, and always throw in the measure that God loves them, God forgives, but there's a consequence for sin. This has been Pastor Kerrene Covington with today's Christian Woman. Join me again as we continue to look at what's happening in today's world. Until we meet again, may God bless you and keep living saved.